Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen. I got gifted a 50-pound bag of onions. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with 50 pounds of onions? And you know Randy and I love our onions. The onions go on and in everything. But that's a lot. And I don't really have storage for that. You know, did my best. I gave some to my neighbors, my in-laws. I tried. But then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to caramelize some onions and drop them in the canner. And I have spent 2 days crying and whining, cut my finger, but I'm on the home stretch, so we'll bring you along. Okay, I cut onions all afternoon. And while I was cutting onions, I figured out I didn't have enough crock pots. And you need some crock pots to do a bunch like this of caramelized onions, which is what we're going to start with. Is I'm going to make some caramelized onions. So I sent Randy to my neighbor's house, and she loaned me this really cool crock pot. Went down to his dad's, got me another crock pot, and then mine. So I have 3 crock pots that were completely full, rounded over the top, with onions. All cut from onions that big. It was tough. All right, at 10 o'clock last night, I turned these crock pots on low. I want you to see how beautiful these onions turned out. Look at that. They are just absolutely beautiful. Can you imagine having that on a Philly cheesesteak or a nice pork roast? Okay, now what you need to do to caramelize your onions is super, super easy. You just fill up a 6-quart crock pot with as many onions as you can fit in there. And then you take 1 stick of butter, put it on the top, put the lid on it, turn it on low, and let it cook all night long. When you wake up in the morning, you have beautiful onions. All right, we're gonna get ready to jar this up, and I just had one little thing to tell you. When you're pressure canning, you really need to use new lids. Without question, you need to use new lids. And you need to make sure that they're not dinged in any way on the outside. And you need to make sure that there's no indents or anything in that rubber, because that will cause it to not seal. You need to make sure that the rings are not bent in any kind of way, that they're perfect. You know, when you go around them, that they're perfect. You also need to check your jars, because sometimes, every now and then you'll take a brand new box and there'll be a chip. It will not seal if it's chipped. So you just take your finger and run it around the outside and make sure that it's perfect. Okay, I've got my jars all sitting out here. They've been washed, sanitized, dried, and they are ready for me to jar this up. And I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch of headspace in each jar. Alright, now we're going to get these debubbled. That's just what it sounds like. You're going to take your debubbler, or you can even use a knife. It doesn't really matter as long as you're moving it around and getting all of your air bubbles out. And you'll see them come to the top. Okay, now I've got it debubbled. I've got vinegar in a little bowl. And I'm just going to clean that rim. You get it nice and clean. You don't want anything left. And you want a germ-free environment. So they say. Now it's time to get those clean lids on. So ready to be done. This is a 2-day project. Alright, last one. Now, I'm not sure if I said it or not, but it's just finger tight. Just turn it till it stops. That's all. Don't torque it. It is time. We are going to load this canner. This is a pressure canner. Alright, onions are a low acid food. So you cannot do this in a water bath. And I am going to double stack. I'm going to be real brave. You'll need a stacker to keep your jars separated. All right, I am loaded. I'm going to turn this eye on. I am so ready. We're going to pull this back because it's heavy now. All right, and I'm going to turn that to about a medium to medium high flame. I'm going to put my lid. Oh, you need to check stuff. Before you put it on here, you need to check stuff. You need to make sure that your pressure valve doesn't have anything to make it stick or anything, that it goes like that. Make sure your emergency valve is nice and tight, nice and fit. Check your gauge that it's at 0, that it's still working. And then set that seal. And turn it to tighten it. I got a good tight seal. Now I'm just going to let this do its little magic and boil and wait for steam. You also need to know your canner, have your manual instructions on the water. Now for a canner this size, I generally use 4 quarts of water, which is roughly maybe 3 inches or so, 2-3 inches in the bottom of the pot. But you need to follow your canner's instructions because all the canners are different. Just make sure that you know how much water to put in your canner, okay? Okay, I have been steaming really good and really heavy for my 10 minutes. My timer has went off, and we are going to drop our weight right on there. Now we are just going to be real careful, and we're going to wait. Okay, this is 0, so the pressure is starting to rise. When it gets to 10 and stays there, then you start your timer for 90 minutes. It can go over 1 or down 1, but you want to stay at that. If it starts climbing more than that, then you'll need to adjust your flame. Turn it down, but turn it down really slowly. And just maintain that 10% or 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, I'm at my 10 pounds. I actually went over a little bit, so I need to adjust my heat. So I'm going to go down here and turn it down just a hair. I mean, just a little bit. and see if I drop. If I don't drop, then I know I need to turn it down another little bit. So I need to turn it down. I'm not still climbing, but I hadn't come down yet. You just have to keep, just watch it. Don't walk off and leave it. You need to stay with it. If it goes below the 10, then you need to turn it back up. But right now, I'm at a steady 11 and a half or something. I think I'm going to turn it down just another hair. I guess I'm going to turn it down one more notch. We're going to give it 2 or 3 minutes and see if I'm holding steady at that 11 and a half. We're going to give it a couple of minutes and see if I need to turn it down more. Okay, I've made all my final adjustments. It is perfect. My timer is set. And 90 minutes to go. Okay guys, my 90 minutes are up. I turned my stove off. I have let my needle go all the way to 0. There's no pressure. My valve is down. Now I'm ready to open my canner. And always open your canner with your face away, just in case there's some leftover steam. And Randy's going to have to open this canner. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Away from your face so that steam goes up in front of you. Okay. Now we just set them on the table. We've got all our jars out of the canner. We've got them sitting over here. They've been sitting for 12 hours. I just let them sit overnight. What I want to do is just check and make absolutely sure that they have sealed and that everything is A-OK great. And they are shelf worthy. Yay!